Good morning, students. I am Sarkar, Assistant Professor at Shiliguri B.Ed College and Shiliguri Primary Teachers Training College. Today, I will discuss D.Ed English, Unit 9, that is Teaching Journal. First of all, what is Teaching Journal? A teaching journal is a written record of your teaching experience, usually committed to paper while the experiences are still fresh. Keeping notes on your own teaching can be useful to you, much like keeping research notes. Now, significance of teaching journal. After the completion of every class, a teacher usually discusses the proceeding of the class in the staff room with his or her colleagues. He or she may discuss what was usually in the class or what made the lesson more interesting. Sometimes he or she discuss the behavior and answer of the learners. Finally, he or she makes entries in the teaching journal regarding pros and cons of what went in the classroom and also what should have gone on in the classroom. Next, teaching journal implies a more systematic process of collecting, recording, analyzing our thoughts and observation as well as those of our student, and then going on to making changes in our techniques or method of teaching. If a lesson, well, we can describe it and think about why it was successful. If the student did not understand a linguistic issue that is introduced, we need to think about what we did, why may have remained unclear. If students are misbehaving, what were they doing, when and why? And finally, we must keep a record of this fact or perception according in the teaching journal. Now, reflecting upon the teaching activity, the process of making an entry in the teaching journal itself is a kind of reflecting upon what has already been done. The process is cyclical or cyclical because once it starts the process, keep going on for the qualitative improvement of the teacher, learner and teaching learning process. In this context of teaching, journal may entail issues or activities like number 1, visual and conducted as a whole. Think what you did, how the children responded. Number 2, was there any unique question or response put up by the children? Did I, as a teacher, adapt to their previous knowledge? And last one, where could I have done the better? Was there any slow or advanced learner in the class? Next, what did I do to help them? Have I improved upon the last class? What support did I provide? Now, we will move on the strategy to find the component for making entry of reflection related perception, teacher diary or professional development journal. This is the easiest process of making entry in a teaching journal. After each lesson, the teacher writes in a notebook about what happened. He or she may describe his or her own reaction and feelings, those he or she observe. On that part of the student, he or she like to begin close question about what has observed. Next, Peer observation. Invite a colleague to come into your class to collect information about your lesson. This is related back to the area you have identified to reflect upon. For example, you might ask your colleagues to focus which student contribute most of the lesson, what is different pattern of interaction occur, or how you deal with your errors. Now we will move on. Recording demonstration of the lesson. Video or audio recording of the demonstration of the lesson in the classroom can provide very useful information for reflection. Audio recording can be useful for considering aspect of teacher talk in relation to how much do you talk, what do you talk about, how much time do you allocate to the student talk, how do you respond to the student talk. Video recording can be useful in showing you aspect of your own behavior, like the following: what do you understand, who do you speak to, how do you come across to the students. Now we will move on to the last point, student feedback. You can also ask the student what they think about what goes on to the classroom. This can be done in the questionnaire or learning diary. For example, what to do the next once you have some information recorded about what goes in your classroom, what do you do? This much for today. Thank you.